I just keep coming back. I can't help myself.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yo, peeps, what's happening? Welcome back. It's official. Esteval Willian to join Chelsea, announced by the club. Update from big Fabrizio Romano on the structure of the deal. The money put in, a little bit of extra data on the player himself. Chelsea have agreed a deal for Omari Kellyman as well. We'll speak about that. And Ian Maatsen's having his Aston Villa medical at the Netherlands camp at the Euros. It's all happening. It's all moving quickly. And I'm going to get into this today and give you my thoughts in it. I've already uploaded twice today. Do consider checking out the videos. I spoke about this young striker that's now apparently going to join Chelsea. I also speak about the Elise fallout in this morning's video. I did a shorter video just earlier today as well, talking about how rival fans and people in football are viewing Chelsea and indeed Aston Villa and Everton and other clubs from selling each other pure profit assets as the latest loophole, which probably will get closed. If you are interested in that kind of admin stuff, which I am, do consider watching that video. In fact, watch all the videos. Support your boy. By liking and subscribing. Alright, let's get into it. So we'll end on talking about Esteval Willian because that's been confirmed. But Fabrizio Romano tweets this. Exclusive. Ian Maatsen is set to undergo medical tests as a new Aston Villa player this weekend. Chelsea have given permission to proceed the medical at the Netherlands camp. Of course, he is away with the Netherlands at the moment. He got called up after I think Frankie de Jong pulled out. It's 37.5 million pounds, which is a lot of peas, mate. He's a great player, Ian Maatsen. I'm not saying, he's definitely worth some money. He's just played in the Champions League final. Yes, he made mistakes, but he's a great player to help them get there. And yeah, Unai Emery seriously wants young Maatsen. I had my own concerns, and this is just my opinion. It's a game of opinions. I know like Cucurella is not big, but it's not a height thing. You don't have to be tall to be a good footballer. Lisandro Martinez, for example. At Manchester United, he's tiny, isn't he, for a centre-back in the Premier League? And we all laughed, didn't we? We were like, what? A centre-back? In our league? In league? That little man, but he's turned out to be wicked. I just have concerns about the robustness of an Ian Maatsen, even compared to, like, Cucurella, who's not a particularly tall guy himself as a defender. Anyway, yeah, obviously this is the big talking point with maybe inflated fees, especially we'll speak about this kid in a moment, swapping with each other. But if you want my detailed opinion on that, of course, go watch the previous upload with the loophole talk. Shall we move on? Yes? Matt Law. If there's one thing he knows about, it's Chelsea and Aston Villa combined. Because he's a Villa fan and he covers Chelsea. There's your detail. So the deal agreed for Omari Kellyman. It's been agreed for £19 million. He will sign a 6-year contract at Chelsea with a option for a further year, so maybe 7. Chelsea first inquired about him at Villa in January. So this is interesting. Okay, firstly, he's 18 and he's been given I don't know. Well, Esteval's got a really long contract. We'll speak about that in a moment. But to spend some time speaking about this kid, Kellyman, we can all have this cynical view of like, oh, we've just pulled an academy graduate out of nowhere. And I think he just about is because they got him from Derby. I do think he represents a pure profit asset for Aston Villa. But yeah. Many people had this cynical view of, we just pluck one out. Here's a way to give you some money that you can put in your books for pure profit. Give it back with Maatsen a little bit, like put the money out. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. I'm not accusing. This is satire, allegedly. All that kind of like defense mechanisms that one says. But Yeah, basically I take comfort in the fact how Chelsea have made inquiries about this particular player as far back as January. Interesting that we haven't heard about it before in reports, but not everything gets leaked to the media. Of course, all we've known really since January as well, and indeed this summer, is John Duran, the 20-year-old Colombian striker, which I can understand in terms of a profile why we've looked to him as well as someone like Benjamin Sesko. Do you know what I mean? This like sort of strong, dominant, aerially good striker. And similarly, Samu Amorodorian, but apparently we've walked away from that deal now, which many of you will feel relieved about. I had no issue with the player, the Atletico Madrid striker. Of course, he was on loan to Alaves last season. Here on the channel, we looked at his stats. His shooting stats were really, really strong. He's a great finisher. But the money being talked about to purchase this player was way too much. You know, it was over 40 million. They were asking silly money for him, and they only bought him for like hardly anything previously. So that makes sense. We're moving away. And to those, many Chelsea fans who just want high-profile players will feel relieved that. But I don't know. We've looked at the numbers. I don't have a massive issue with signing John Duran, provided it's for okay money. And, I don't want to just judge players and condemn them to being poor, because many people didn't know who, Malo Gusto was. And they were like, who the hell is this guy? We didn't sign for much money. And he looks like such an accomplished elite Premier League operator. And similarly, if you not to blow my own horn here, but I was particularly excited when we signed Cole Palmer, when loads of people in my comments were like, what, yeah, 40 million for this kid who's never played it. Loads of people, not to take the mick out of anyone, but there was loads of negativity around Cole Palmer in terms of the investment and the profile of the player. He's a star. These players have got to come from somewhere, and maybe we're good at finding some. Obviously, there'll be misses as well as hits, but you'd rather buy a kid and he becomes a superstar at your club than you just spend loads of money and high wages on a new name. You might get that initial excitement and dopamine hit from the high-profile signing on big wages, but look, huge caveat, if this works. Because, look, you may be thinking, oh, here's Jan trying to be all positive. I've always maintained my position throughout the latter stages of the Roman Abramovich tenure. I've wanted a little bit more footballing infrastructure, finding some good players rather than just throwing loads of money at the wall. And even under the new ownership, you can see at the very beginning, we did the big names, big wages, with the Koulibalys, the Aubameyangs, the Raheem Sterlings, all on crazy high wages, and it didn't work. I feel like football genuinely is changing, and that's why Ineos is ripping up the Man United model, just spending loads of money, for the last 10 years, not seeing anything for it. And of course, Liverpool, with their new sporting director structure, are trying to do something similar as well. I do think football's changing. The huge caveat is we're yet to see this fully work at the top level. We've seen this kind of Moneyball structure, intelligent buys, kind of Brighton-y, which is going to make your stomach turn. It does mine as well a little bit. So we haven't seen it scaled up. Sensible football scaled up. Does it have to be sugar daddy football, just spending loads of money? I've said for a long time, I don't think that works as well as it used to, and I do think even under Abramovich, we saw that, So I explained the first window of these owners, the Koulibalys, the Aubameyangs, the Sterlings, whoever else we bought and didn't work. There's that, but even at the end of the Abramovich era, and we were very successful under Abramovich and being run, with Marina Granovskaya, and we won the Champions League, which I do personally think actually is a bit of a papering over the cracks scenario. Well deserved, but it's that European Cup run that suited Tuchel's football, that suited Kante going on an absolute tear up. Kante's amazing in cups. He's an amazing footballer, but he's World Cup, Europa League, Champions League. He's just. I don't think we've been a good, consistent domestic football team since 2017. And I think even then, that was a sort of automated football, where Victor Moses looked like a worldie because he was given two choices when he was on the ball. Since then, we tried to play different ways, buying, sort of Galacticos and let them express themselves. We'll buy Timo Werner because he scored loads of goals in the Bundesliga last season. He will be our goal scorer for Chelsea. Now, Werner was useful. He wasn't a goal scorer for Chelsea. Kai Havertz, he looks amazing, like a unique profile, and like Roman wanted him because he was like Eden Hazard. He wasn't like Eden Hazard. This situation was like Eden Hazard. Real Madrid wanted him, Bayern Munich wanted him. Let's get him because I don't know how it fits in. Let's just make it work. And then, of course, a little bit later, Romelu Lukaku, high-profile names, high transfer fees, high wages, and it kind of screws us. And then we're just like, have all these massive egos and massive wage bills, and we're not getting anywhere, and we can't remold them into a new holistic ethos of football, say like a Enzo Maresca would want to do at Chelsea. So I get it. I think times are changing. I was calling for change. Look, man, I realise I'm going on a rant here, and I do want to move on, but I'm like you. I wanted Elise because he's like a sexy name. He scores goals in the Premier League. Of course, this is how you react as a football fan. But I have to like nail my colours to the mast, like I always have for years, in how I feel football's moving and how I feel our club should be run in terms of sustainability, a long-term vision, not just throwing cash at the wall, especially when profit and sustainability rules is getting more and more rigid. And look, I'm not condoning everything that we're doing. I'm not saying it's the only way and it's going to work and everyone will be happy. It might not work, but I get the idea, and a lot of the idea I've called for a long, long time. And many of you will know that, and, you know, I'm not saying my opinion, my outlook is correct. All I can do is, like, present to you my opinion and why I feel that way. But I'm, I'm not in the business of just blindly arguing football opinions. Right, so Fabrizio, well, let's do Chelsea's announcement first on Esteval, and then we'll look at the deal a bit closer through Romano. Chelsea Football Club has agreed a deal to sign teenage forward Esteval Willian from Palmeiras, with the Brazilian to officially join Chelsea next summer. The 17-year-old has already built a strong reputation in South America as one of the most exciting talents around due to his skillful dribbling, electric pace. He causes defence plenty of problems in his breakout season in senior football. So Esteval has featured 10 times in the Brazilian Serie A, is it Serie A, like it's Italy, I don't know, for Palmeiras, contributing 2 goals and 2 assists. Not bad for a kid in men's football, as well as also finding the net in the Copa Libertadores and Copa do Brasil. Pretty impressive. The exciting forward follows fellow Brazilians, all similar his age as well, which will help him, Andre Santos, Davide Washington, and Angelo Gabriel at Stamford Bridge, and has also featured at his nation for youth level. You can imagine senior level before long. As far as Angelo Gabriel and David Washington goes, I don't think he'll be playing with them. Obviously, a very good chance that Santos stays and plays for Chelsea. But, you know, he'll be doing what Kendrick Pires is doing and learning English. I wonder if throughout next season he'll do visits like Kendrick Pires has been doing, learning English, making friends. So when the young man turns 18, who is still a young man, then he feels comfortable, he feels acquainted to Cobham, Stamford Bridge, and integrated, because that's smart business from Chelsea as well, making in terms of how they've dealt with Kendrick Pires. Pretty positive. So Romano has tweeted this in terms of the structure, all the documents signed. The final conditions are 34 million euros, which is about, 30 million quid? So the 6 million add-ons are based on apps with Palmeiras. So Palmeiras, or excuse my pronunciation. So he's obviously going to play another season there, or I don't know how the season schedule is, but he'll be playing more with them. So if he scores loads of goals and does really well, it's 6 million euros on top. 17 million euros add-ons based on being a multi-season starter at Chelsea. So already a massive add-on there, 17 million, is going to be over years, because he has to be a starter over years. Clearly, and this is massive, because clearly that's the intention of he's going to be a first teamer for Chelsea Football Club as an 18-year-old. Which feels wild, but these players like Kendrick Pires and Esteval Willian, because they've already made their debut so young, by the time they get to 18, you feel like they should be seasoned enough. And finally, there's an additional 4 million euro for difficult add-ons. Now, I wonder what governs difficult add-ons. I wonder, winning the Ballon d'Or, winning the Premier League, Champions League and stuff like that. Maybe that they probably surely represent difficult add-ons for Chelsea. Pretty positive. Worth getting excited about. Remember, he will come at the end of next season, but technically the season will be kind of still going because we will have the Club World Cup, which he would be eligible to play for. I don't know if he's going to be slam dunked straight in, but maybe he will be. Like, the Club World Cup is a competition Chelsea want to take very seriously and win because it's still prestigious, and of course it can make that sweet, sweet money. The thing is, with Esteban Willian, some of the teams, I mean, there'll be South American teams in there. He's not going to be coming up against a Man City. Maybe he'll have the opportunity to play a little bit and express themselves, and there'll be certain games maybe he can play in and we can get a look at him. The same with Kendry Pires. So it's very, very exciting indeed. Just as a reminder, of course, he's a right-sided player with he's left-footed. He can play in 3 different positions, so there's transfer marks here. Of course, his main position is right winger. His other position are attacking midfield and second striker, so he kind of can do and Christopher Nkunku in that sense, like playing off a central striker. And this kind of makes you feel like, right, this is why we're looking at your John Durans and were looking at your Samus as well, and maybe not so much now. But yeah, because they've got players to play off them. And dude, the hype around Esteban Willian is profound. There are people saying he's the better player out of him and Endrick. And Endrick's the £60 million or Euro guy who went to Real Madrid and scoring winners for Brazil. And everyone's still saying, yeah, but Esteban Willian, not everyone, but a great deal of people are saying Esteban Willian is the more talented of the two. So if you got that player coming in to join the Chelsea first team, it's another reason that you're going to be that bummed that, you know, a player that's just a few years older than him in Michael Elise didn't join, like blocking the pathway for this kid. Look, we don't know till we know ultimately, and we'll see what happens there. But I did want to talk about that. Pretty positive stuff, I think. It's still the great unknown for Chelsea. I mean, lots of people are moaning on social media, but such is the way of football. The season hasn't even started yet. And won't do for a little while as well. But let me know what you think as always. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and subscribing. We are on the journey to 200,000 subscribers, and you can make the difference if you subscribe. Hit the bell if you choose to, and I'll see you soon. Peace.